Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the On One. I keep forgetting the model name. Yeah, 456. It was a couple of £100 from a bike jumble, and I just want to take it apart, make sure there's no damage to the carbon before I decide whether to keep it or part it. So I thought I'd bring you along and show you. Let's get it stripped down. Let's have a look. Right, so I've not had a proper look at it since I've had it, which was about a month ago. So yeah, hopefully we don't find anything too worrying with the frame, as it is carbon. Really, looking at it on the day, it looked sound, but you can never really tell until you properly look. So I've got my snips, my Allen keys. I'm going to start off by taking off all the cabling. We're not going to be reusing that. We can just get rid of that. There's a couple of cable ties underneath. And then as you can see, I'm limited to room. I'm not doing it outside, it's way too cold. It's cold enough in here. There's a couple of cable ties this end. Every time I record, my phone goes. Sorry about that. 3 phone calls since I switched the camera on. Always the same. Cables was actually pretty clean. A bit light now. Just collect all these up, put them in the metal tub ready to take down the tip. Right. Now I'm just going to take the chain off. Just going to look for a quick link, which there isn't one. Just got a sort of solid master pin. Double check. Yeah, just the one solid pin. Oh, I'm just going to push it back out that way, as it would have been pushed in that way, so I might be able to, mind you, I'll probably just put a quick link in, just for convenience. Like I say, I'm not too sure what I'm doing with it yet, but we just need to check this frame properly. Wow. Right, so there's a chain off. Just basically left the pin just to the end there, so I can push it back in if need be. Like I said, you are better off just putting a quick link in rather than putting that back in again. Should put my gloves on really. I'm just going to move you a bit closer. Right, let's take off this rear mech. Damn, she's tight. Ooh, see those sharp pointy teeth on the pulleys? That's them are done. Clutch mech. Yep, that works. That'll clean up nice. Couple of new pulleys. That'll go again. Right. Let's get the front mech off. I'm glad that one very tight. Ooh, she was bonded on there a little bit. You can just check the surface of the mech, and there's no wear on there. I don't think this bike's had a lot of wear, a lot of use. On the front mech, just the other side, there's a couple of 5mm Allen head bolts. I'll just pop you around the other side. Right, so a couple of bolts either side there. This is Shimano's Holotech 2 design. And just take off the preloader. We just want to take this bolt closest to the bottom bracket fully out, because in the past I've tried to get this arm off, but there is a little plastic little bracket here with a metal pin in which holds it on, so without sliding this up you won't get it off. With enough force it does come off, but then it just breaks the pin. So that slides up like that, look. Now it's free to just come off. And our crank then will just slide out. There we go. So the teeth are absolutely sound. When they go pointy they're done, but there's plenty of life left in there. Nice bit of kit. Bearings feel okay, not too free and not seized up. They feel absolutely fine. I'm not going to take the bottom bracket out. Right, let's move on to our front wheel. I did notice when I bought it that the lever for the axle was broke off. Common problem on these. So we are just going to undo it by hand. If it's tight you can use a pair of pliers just to get it off. I'm going to be replacing this anyway. I want the front wheel to come out, and also drops your extension lead at the same time. Right, yeah, so there's the axle. And then we can check our bearings. There's no play and they spin nice and free. And you can tell by the feel of it that it's got some resistance with the grease, so it's actually in absolutely mechanically sound condition. If it's just spinning too fast, then you know there's no grease in there, all your bearings have worn. Good tyres as well. No cracking on the wall. Plenty of tread. Good, good, good. I'll just get the back wheel off. So the back wheel is quick release. Just a little lever this end and it will come out. You can hear that. There's plenty of wobble in there, so we'll have to have a look at that. It might be a case of it just needs resetting the hub. The locking nuts might have come undone. Okay, move this over a bit. Let's look at our headset forks. Get them removed. I'm just going to undo these two caliper bolts. Got a longer bolt at the top and then a slightly shorter one at the bottom, due to the spacer that's used. And just adapts the angle of the caliper for your bigger rotor on the front. And we've got a little Allen key here, Allen key bolt to remove. Just take that all the way out. That's it. That'll just allow us now to get these forks out. Two little 4mm bolts either side of the stem. I did already loosen these just to help store it. Let's undo the top cap. Just be wary that when this top cap's out, there's nothing holding these forks. Just put your hand on the forks there. Put the top cap on the side. Slide the stem off. Oh, I forgot to disconnect my back brake then. I just leave that carefully for now. Slide these forks out. Remove our two spacers and our top bearing cover. And our crown race as well will just be sat in your bearing. Let's just move you over to the other side. So we've got a zip tie here, a cable clip there, a zip tie there, another zip tie and one there. Come on. The zip tie was strong. I'm just going to finally remove the two bolts for the caliper. Yep. You can see how cramped I am. You never have a big enough shed because you always fill it. Mostly with crap. Bye. Right, so that's our back brake removed. Just slide our bolts out. There we go. So, put a bit of muck off on the frame. I think this is alright, you know. a second. I just want to take off the dust. It's in pretty clean condition anyway. Just remove any dirt. This thing is light. No weight to this at all. Carbon on the black part here is kind of like a grey colour, and then it's like dark in built up areas. Nice. Okay. She's a goer. Right, so as you probably know, the chainstay drive side's going to get the most battered, and we have got some nasty chips, some scratches, but it ain't damaged the carbon. So we're looking for hairline cracks basically. Nice mounting points there for a chain tensioner. Oh, I thought that was one then. What is that? Like a line that goes up there, look. But that's just part of the carbon, it's not a... You'll know it when you see one. Apart from this bit here, everything else look mint. Another common area around the seat tube, especially when people have had their seat posts too high, but that is mint. What a nice frame. All of these cable mounting points around the fixing points look okay as well. We've got a nasty one there, look. But again, the carbon's not been affected. I really rate the On1 brand. We've got dropouts there that we can take out, probably put a solid dropout version in. That might be available, I'm not too sure. So step one complete. We know our frame's good. There's nothing obvious. Little serial number down there. Cool. I'm just going to take the seat post out. So we can just double check. I think I did take this out already. I took it out and cleaned it. I don't have any carbon paste, so I don't. You should use carbon paste even if you've got an alloy seat post, but I don't have none. So not grease, just you're better off having nothing. But yeah, just looking around there, there's nothing, there's no damage. That's absolutely sound. Right, let's whack that back in. So what do we need to do? We've got a back hub which needs a service. Find out if that's fixable. We've got the front skewer axle which is broken, so we've got to replace that. I've already ordered it, so it's already here. And that's it. pulleys on the mech, and that's all that's needed. That's absolutely brilliant. You can have a look at the brake pads, take them out, give them a clean. Well, let's start off with the hub first on the back. Let's show that being stripped down and checking all that as well. Wicked. Okie dokie. Let's have a look at this hub. Let's take the skewer out. Missing a spring on the one side, which doesn't matter too much. Right, I'm going to take the cassette off. Put that in there, hold our cassette. There we go. We just need the chain whip, otherwise your cassette just goes round. Okay, so we've got 10 speed cassette. And again, looking at the teeth, just looking for any pointiness. And their sound. Tiny bit of wear on the common gears, but very minimal. So that's absolutely fine to go again. So I just need to check. There's probably one side loose, and it is the disc side. So I'm just going to nip it up by hand and then feel the bearings, and I can feel that their sound as expected. So it is a case of it's just come undone on the disc side, so we just need to tighten this up. I'm not going to strip that down because I can feel the bearings are smooth, there's no notchiness. So to do that, we will have to remove the rotor as well, because you ain't going to be able to get to your locking cone. So it's a lock-on rotor, so again with our cassette tool we can simply take that off. Sometimes you've got 6 bolts instead. Right, so now we can just about make out right on the inside there a flat spot either side, and that's our 15mm locking nut. Where's my 15? Okay, that will do. I've got my cone spanner. We need a 17mm. All I'm going to do is hold this side with the 17mm, get the 15mm cone spanner inside there, and I'm just going to over tighten it very slightly so it is sort of stiff. But that means when I tighten up against our locking nut, we're backing off slightly, nip that up, and that will be, you might have to repeat that a few times till you get the desired strength, but that is sound. It's free, there's no play, that's exactly what we want. Perfect. Right, just checking the free hub, getting that click in so the clutches are engaged properly as they should, and it's also locking absolutely fine. So that is a good solid wheel. Nice and true. I'm really impressed with this bike. I expected, because it was so cheap, there to be a problem with the frame or something, but touch wood, so far there's no issues. So I'm just going to put this rotor back on. put the rotor back on, the cassette back on, and we'll move on and just double check the forks. So join me shortly. Right, so I've got our forks here. Okay, that's a crown race with everything sort of built in. Usually you've got a dust cover you can remove, but that's all built in there. Aluminium as well, not plastic. Just clean the steerer. Give these stanchions a wipe down. You just want to look for any deep scratches on the stanchions. And there's the little tiny little mark there. I don't think it's a, no, it's just a mark. Yeah, they're sound. They're absolutely sound. They're air forks, rock truck sectors. They've got a lockout function, which doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh yeah, that's fine. Always move a little bit on the rock shocks, they never sort of fully lock out. But quite greasy on there. I think it was possibly greased by the previous owner. Just want to compress them a few times, see if we've got any oil leakage. Oh, they feel great. I think they're sound. New seals wouldn't go amiss to change them, but if they're not leaking and they're working. We've got also a preload adjuster at the bottom there, which we can check now. So I'm going to turn it all the way clockwise, and that should slow the, I don't know if you can see, should slow them down. There you go. And then all the way anti-clockwise to speed them up. And I've got on the back there turtle and a rabbit. So rabbit's obviously quicker, more springier, turtle slower, more rebound. Cool. Mechanically sound, and actually in good nick as well. There's a few scratches, but look at the condition. This is me convincing myself I need to keep it. I don't need to sell it, I need to keep it. They're great. And then 140mm, let's have a look. Yeah, 140s. Says on the back, 140 solo air. Right, so brakes. Let's have a look at the brakes. So just looking inside the caliper there, we can see there's a little bit of wear on the pads. It's just a little split pin here holding them in. Excuse me, there we go. Just remove that and push these pads out. Ooh, bit dirty. What happens with these, especially if they've been stood a while, the little rubber washers in the pistons, they're not sort of working as well, so you sometimes do well to take them out and clean them all up. But I'll give them a clean and get them pistons pushed back and forward a few times just to get them working better. It probably will be okay, but as you can see the pistons have come out a fair bit due to the pad wear, but I'm going to be putting them back in. So yeah, see that one, the rear, you can see the piston on the one side has been doing most of the work, the other one's kind of stuck. We'll press the brake. You can see that one piston moving more. So that'll definitely need a good clean and a reset. Right, I'll just make a bit of space on the workbench and we'll have a better look at them. Right, made a bit of space. Let's remove this horrible grip. The grip which has definitely had its day. Just take our lever off. And we've got our shifter joined to it as well. Okay. Let's take this mount off. Right. Move our pads. Plenty of crap in there. So I'm not going to move the pistons yet, I'm just going to leave them as they are. Just give it a spray with some muck off. Just want to clean everything as it sits. Then when the pistons do get pushed back, they'll be clean. Feed the rag through. Right, got a bit of GT85, just going to force. I would if I had some left. Come on. Oh, you pathetic. Hopefully I've got another one. Yes, I have. Better. I'm just forcing out any crap around them pistons. I'm just using my screwdriver edge and towel just around them pistons. To get off the dirt and the grime. Bye bye. There we go. Okay. So, providing you've got fluid in, which I know I have, I'm just going to press the lever and just see what's going on. They are both moving, it's just that one's come out more. That could be the fact that they've not been set up from day one. So I'm going to continue to push these pistons out a little bit more. Not fully out, you can see that one's moving more. Again, spray them. I don't want to pop them out completely, because if you do that you might as well replace the seals. So that's sorted that. Nice and clean. What I'm going to do with something sufficient, actually I'll just use my screwdriver. Be careful because you can break these pistons easy. I'm just going to push this one back. You're better off using something like plasticky. Just try either side of the piston. Sometimes when there's no pads in, they come out a little bit crooked. There you go. So I've pushed that one back, and while holding that one against the wall, I'm going to push the other one out to try and encourage it past where it's sort of corroded. Let's try again. You can see it's coming. This one here on my side is moving really nice. I need if it's really stubborn, you towel over, a pair of pliers, just hold that one piston a bit, just to get the other one to come out. You see, it's come out now. So I can clean that. What's happened is just like, it's just created a point where it won't come past. And you're better off scaring them coming out equally just for a better break. There we go. See, that one's come out now. So again, push that one back. Like so. And now when I press, see they evenly come out. You might want to repeat the process a few times just to, especially that one that's been stuck. That's coming out on its own now without the pliers. There we go. And that is our pistons cleaned, moving in conjunction with each other. So I'll leave a bit of lubricant on there. Just pop that one out a bit more. They'll come out about 4mm before they'll pop out completely. Not the end of the world, you can just clean and put them back in. Push it back home, just either side if it's stubborn. There we go. Beautiful. So that's our caliper serviced. Well, it ain't serviced, is it? It's just a quick fix, but it'll do the job. Now our brake pads, we want to get the GT85 and we want to spray them completely, flood them with GT85. No, that's a joke. You don't want to use any type of lubricant on the brakes at all. So all I want to do, I'm even going to take these gloves off because they've got GT85 on. All I'm going to do with some 120 sandpaper, just lightly take off a bit of the pad, just like that. There's not much in them at all. I might even check my spares. Actually, no, I ain't got none. Where's my screwdriver? So I'm just going to run over the edges like so, just where the crack collects up. Boom, there we go. Clean pad. See how much is left? Literally, there's not much left in that at all. but that's how you clean them. So there's more on this side, look. Obviously because the one piston was doing all the work. And we can tell that because of the pad. You can tell when your pistons ain't closing together because you'll have a spongy brake. It's one of the reasons you might have a spongy brake, because you need to bleed the system as well. That's that one clean. To be honest guys, I won't be putting those back in just because of how badly worn the one is. I'll just show you what I'm going to do with the front set. So I'll clean that front set of pads, do the same with the caliper, and then that's our brake sorted, and then we can move on to the next bit. Okay, I've just heated up the parts washer. Took a bit to heat up. So I'm just going to give the cassette a clean. It's not bad actually, it's not too dirty. Okay, let's leave them for a bit and then we can go over them again. So I've got the cassette fairly clean. What I like to do is just nip in the vice gently with my towel. This is a bit of OCD, but I do enjoy getting the crap out. So I'll just go through each gear. It's just an easy way of getting the dirt out that the parts watcher's not got. Right, so I've just moved on to the rear mech. Just give that a good clean up. Also the cage. Just show you these pulleys. So of course this one you can see there's a bit of wear on it, but there's life left in there. This one is pretty much done. All the teeth are pointy. So I'll be trying to see if I've got a new one of them. So I'll give that a good clean up. Just get your little screwdriver and a bit of rag. Just get right in where your spaces. Get any crap out. Anybody else get this far with their bike? Not many do. It's cleaned inside there as well. If I've got two pulleys, I'll replace them both, but I'm pretty sure I've got none. So you might be putting them both back on. Just got this little needle here, just to get inside. Oh, I just love that. Love getting that out. Scrape that crap out. Blow it everywhere. And same with that. Give that a clean. she's good, ready to go. And we've just got the little insert there just to clean. And then the bolt, which is pretty mint. That's one pulley. I'll just have a look, see if I can find another one. Right, I managed to find another pulley. As you can see the difference, it's quite a bit. So I'll go ahead and clean. That was the mechanic to pull it off. So I'll go ahead and clean the two little shims and the other bits, and get that back together, and we can move on to the next bit. Right, so everything's cleaned up and ready to go back on. I've got some slightly better grips than the ones that was on. Some new pads for the, I'll probably put them in the front, and the best out the old set, all cleaned up for the rear. So we'll start putting it back together. Right, so let's get the let's get the forks in first. Oh, I forgot to clean inside there. I've got to do that. It's better. The lower bearing's still in there. Didn't want to come out very easy, so I just left it. Put the top bearing in. Crown race, spacer, handlebars on. Just tightening up the top cap. Just nip that. Just make sure it's smooth with no play. And then we can do the two side bolts up. Right, so I've got my new axle for the front wheel. There we go. And I'll put the crank back in. Left hand crank arm on, and then just put that clip back in place. And just firstly preload the bearings, and that just needs nipping up. You don't have to go overboard with that, just so the play's taken out. And then we can evenly just tighten up the bolts. Now our front mech. Just want it a couple of mil higher than the top chain ring. And of course, get it parallel with the teeth. About there. It looks good. Right. I think we can move on to the front brake next. Right, let's get this front brake ready. As I say, I'm going to put the new pads in the front. And what I'm going to do with this spring, just to help those pistons out a little bit, I'm just going to open up the spring a little. There she goes. Just forcing the spring out slightly, just so it'll help push the pads back. Also got a new split pin as well. Okay, there's our new pads in, and then we can install that. I'll put the rear ones in ready. You obviously don't need to see that again. And let's get this front brake on. Right, let's mount the caliper. I'm just going to go inside the fork leg. We'll attach the cable to the forks in a minute. So just put the mount back on. You can see the arrow there where it says up, so we want that in place there with our longer bolt. For the top, a shorter one for the bottom. Give the bolts a good clean up as well, just to get the old crap off. At this point it's a good idea just to put a bit of Loctite on. I'm possibly stripping this again, so I'm not going to Loctite it. So with the bolts pretty much all the way to the end, with the caliper still loose, I'm just going to nip the brake. Just tighten them up. Just going to look now as well, just to make sure the pistons are closing equally. The brake feels really good. May need a little tweak. I'm just going to attach this cable. Yeah, so the pistons have come out nice and equal. The little catch there, as you can hear. I'm just going to undo the top one, just move it over slightly. That's just stop that catch. Right, that's the front one done. We'll move on to the back brake. Just before I've moved on to the back one, I've just trued that rotor, so it was just catching in the one place. So with the disc truing tool, just bent it slightly over just to move it out of the way, and that's stopped the catch now. I don't know if you'll pick this up on So you can see there's no catch. There is still a tiny buckle in the rotor, but it is very, very tiny. Well, the pistons are moving together now. I wouldn't say that was absolutely perfect, but we've got a nice solid brake there. Look, it's stopping about halfway where we want it. That's good. Yeah, let's get the back one sorted, and I'm not expecting as good of brake as the front, because obviously those pads are got a bit more wear. They're not bad actually. Managed to get 2 good ones out of the 2. These are resin pads as well, so make sure you use the correct one. Not all rotors are designed to take metal sintered pads, so make sure I've got the correct ones. That new set that I found was resin as well, so that'll be fine. Right, let's get the back brake prepped and let's get that on. Let's put the mount on first. Same again, I'm just going to press the back brake. Pistons are quite far away. Just took a bit of pressing. And looking at that, the one piston has done all the work again. I'm going to have to try and move that over. I don't know if you can see, just inside there, this side, pistons come out all the way. So it will be a case of just got to hold that one piston whilst pressing the brake just to get the other one out. But it is still slightly sticking. Just using the pad just to push it back. There we go. So I'm just going to hold that piston in and then just gently push it to get that other one coming out. That's got it. As you can see now, the pistons are equally closing. Cool. They do that from new as well, so it's not the fact that they're old brakes, it's something that it can happen with a brand new brake. Just kind of got to manipulate them to get them working evenly. But once you do that, they'll continue to work normal then. So just nip them up. And then I'm just going to move the caliper over just to stop that catch. There we go. Perfect. Slight catch still. There we go. Nip them up. Cool. So there's no catch in there. And we've got a good solid brake. the fluid probably could do with being changed, but they're working fine, so we'll leave it for now. Right, next up, I'm going to clip this hose in all its proper places. I wanted to route the back brake cable round the other side of the head tube just to stop this rub what's been caused here, but because they've designed the clamps this side, you can't really do it. So what I'll have to do is somehow just get something to protect that, to stop that rubbing it. But yeah, I'll go ahead and zip tie it together there, and then we'll move on to fitting the chain. Nice clean chain. I have got rid of the master pin as well, so I've got a quick link to use. That's looking nice and clean. On your rear mech, just make sure you go above this little bracket here, not below. It'll just wear straight through and it'll just constantly catch. There we go, chain on. It's quite noisy, but obviously everything's bone dry, so put a bit of oil on that. Everything's lined up nice. Right, so I need to cut down some cables for our gears, and I do need to find some cables actually. I don't know if I've got any. But I'll have a little route now and I'll be back shortly. Well, I'm just putting the outer cable on first. I'm going to work out the best route for it. So I'm sorting out the rear gear cable, so I want the cable to come from the left hand side of the bike. Again, just to stop any cable rub, ideally. Right, so my gear cable from the left hand side is going to come over here into there. Also go underneath the rear brake. I've noticed the rear brake hose is too short, so that's got to be replaced. It's not the worst, but if you're turning all the way to the right, it's sort of too tight. But for now we'll leave it. I'll get a new hose ordered. Right, so that's the outer cable in. Just got to feed that underneath that brake cable, put that in there. Obviously we've got too much slack there, so I'll trim it at that end and then we can get out. Okay, let's just feed our cable through. That's rule on. Put the cable in. Fluff on it already. Nobody needs that. Okay, put the cable in the mech. Into the pinch bolt. Guide, just make sure you get it in the guide. There we go. Job done. Cable in. Just got to trim these down. What I'll do is I'll put a little frame protector there just to stop it catching. I'll do. Show me in black. There we go. So yeah, that's the gear cable put in. As you can see, it runs up here this side and comes over there. So when you're turning, it causes a lot more cable rub on that side. Yeah, it's pretty good. So what I'll do, I'll get the front mech cable put in, and we'll run through the gears, make sure them are all lined up, and then she's pretty much done. Right, let's just run through the rear gears. Oh yeah. Them are all right. Just check the front. Better sound. So apart from that back brake cable, which needs replacing because it's too short, she's all good. Well, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a little tinkering about video. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, comment and subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.